The saga surrounding Shadore Sanders and his NFL draft decisions has taken yet another turn, and this time the Philadelphia Eagles are at the center of the storm. Reports reveal that the Eagles had their eyes on Shedeur, eager to bring him into their system, but much like his decision with the Ravens, he turned them down. The reason? He wasn't interested in being a backup. Just as he rejected the idea of sitting behind Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, he declined the chance to sit behind Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. That decision has sparked outrage, debate, and an avalanche of commentary from analysts, former players, and media figures who seem determined to label Shadore's choice as arrogance rather than strategy. One of the loudest voices has been Emmanuel Acho, who publicly declared that he hates Shadore's decision. In Acho's eyes, Jalen Hurts represented the perfect blueprint for how quickly an NFL career can change. Hurts, after all, came into the league as a backup to Carson Wentz, only to seize the moment when opportunity arrived and transform himself into one of the league's most respected quarterbacks. To Acho, Shedeur missed out on a golden opportunity to learn from Hurts, to watch up close how he carried himself, and to grow under the mentorship of a player who has already lived through that journey. Acho's frustration was clear. In his view, Shedeur let ego cloud his judgment, and that could cost him in the long run. But not everyone agreed. Former Eagles star LeSean McCoy, better known as Shady, pushed back hard on Acho's narrative. McCoy pointed out that while most players don't have the luxury of picking and choosing their path, Shedeur does. His hype, his spotlight, and the sheer amount of attention surrounding him give him a unique level of leverage. McCoy argued that it's unfair to compare Jalen Hurts' rise to Shadore's situation. Hurts wasn't under the same kind of microscope when he entered the league. He didn't carry the generational hype that Shedeur has, nor the weight of being the son of Deion Sanders. According to McCoy, that difference matters. What Hurts had to do to prove himself isn't the same road that Shedeur needs to walk. Still, Acho doubled down, firing back with a challenge of his own. If Shedeur is truly as good as everyone says he is, then why not step into Philadelphia and beat out Jalen Hurts? Why not put the confidence to the test against one of the league's brightest stars? Acho framed it as a contradiction. Either Shedeur is confident enough to back himself, or he's running from competition by refusing to take that risk. In that way, the debate shifted from strategy to ego, with Acho suggesting that Shadore's decision was less about planning his future and more about avoiding the possibility of failure. That's when Deion Sanders himself entered the conversation and shut the narrative down with the kind of blunt honesty that only he could deliver. Deion was quick to point out the myth that sitting behind an established quarterback somehow develops a young player. In his words, "When have the pros ever developed anybody?" He wasn't wrong. History shows that NFL teams rarely take the time to nurture backup quarterbacks into stars. The league is built on performance, on results, and on proving yourself under pressure. Waiting your turn, Deion argued, is a dangerous game because often that turn never comes. The NFL is not a classroom. It's a battlefield, and the only way to learn how to win is to be thrown into the fight. Deion hammered home another point that seemed to get lost in all the noise. By the time a player makes it to the NFL, the assumption is that they already know the game. They're expected to understand the playbook, execute at a high level, and adapt instantly. This isn't college anymore. There's no patience for trial and error, no room for development in the traditional sense. If you can't perform, the team finds someone else who can. So the idea that Shedeur needed to sit behind Hurts or Lamar to learn the ropes just doesn't hold water. In Deion's view, the bench doesn't teach you anything. The field does. And the only way Shedeur will grow is by playing, not by watching. Despite the firestorm, what has gone overlooked in this entire debate is the mutual respect between Jalen Hurts and Shadore Sanders. When rumors surfaced about Shedeur being injured before a preseason game, Hurts didn't add fuel to the speculation. Instead, he handled it with class, choosing not to engage in gossip and instead focusing on supporting a fellow quarterback. He praised Shadore's work ethic, his grind, and his determination to succeed. Hurts made it clear he was rooting for him, not tearing him down. It was a gesture that spoke volumes about Hurts' character, and it completely undercuts the media's attempt to pit the two against each other. Hurts went further, acknowledging that Shadore's decision wasn't about arrogance but about vision. He understood that Shedeur wanted to build his own legacy, not stand in someone else's shadow. There was no bitterness, no resentment, no suggestion of disrespect. Just respect from one quarterback to another, from one man chasing his dream to another who has already achieved it. Hurts admitted that patience, resilience, and hard work are what the league demands, and in that sense, he showed nothing but admiration for Shadore's journey. This is where the media narrative begins to unravel. The very player Shedeur supposedly disrespected by turning down the Eagles has nothing but good things to say about him. Then what are we really looking at? The truth is, the ongoing commentary about Shadore's choices isn't about his development as a player. It's about creating drama, stirring controversy, and undermining a young quarterback at a critical moment in his career. Analysts like Emmanuel Aiko may frame it as concern or tough love, but the reality is these narratives are designed to cast doubt, to chip away at confidence, and to create headlines. What's lost in the noise is the long-term vision. Shedeur isn't chasing the easy route, nor is he running from competition. He's betting on himself, on his ability to rise without waiting for permission, and on his determination to prove his worth when his moment comes. That's not arrogance, that's confidence. That's the same mindset that has driven every great player in NFL history, from Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes. None of them made their mark by sitting quietly in the background. They stepped up, took the reins, and carved their own path. Deion's defense of his